folks, what is going on? My name is Scott Schertzen from Streampunk Entertainment. Alongside me is Mr. Mitch Kopsky from Hardcore Sports, and joining me is Mr. Kyle Krieger, and down below, Mr. Brandon K. And this is Streampunk Reacts, where we sit there, we rate, review, and laugh at obscure sports, obscure videos, and basically whatever we feel like. Carjitsu. Gonna let you watch it. Basically, if you ever thought about jiu-jitsu and thought to yourself, you know what this needs? Vehicle damage? Welcome to carjitsu.
It's like competitive carjacking.
No, basically, it's literally jiu-jitsu inside of a car. That's all it is. This is something that is starting to gain a little bit of traction. It's aired on TV. A little hard to kind of see what's going on in this case here. It looks kind of romantic in a really bizarre sort of way.
I was also going to say, it looks like they're trying to make it to the back seat, but aren't doing so well.
Apparently, getting into the back seat does actually have an advantage on this because it gives you a little more flexibility in what you can do. Because again, no steering wheel and a lot of other things. But no punching is not allowed. No kicking is allowed. Anything like that. You're not allowed anything of that sort. But you're allowed to use anything inside the car itself. So if you want to use the seat, the horn will honk, by the way.
Okay, that was going to be my question. A, does the horn honk? And B,
Yes.
does the radio work? Because how many times are the channels changing? I mean,
the radio is
there's
off, but the horn does honk in this case. I mean, I got it on silent here for us, but yes, you can if you want to. You're able to actually use the seat belts if you need. You're not allowed to get out of the car. If you get out of the car, it's an automatic reset. You go back inside the car again, and you do the whole thing hands up, hands down, and go.
This kind of reminds me of the...
So if you cheat, you get to start over. Okay.
Yes, you do. Yeah. The doors will occasionally open, and people will fall out on occasion.
Yeah. This kind of reminds me of Deadpool and Wolverine, that fight.
Yes.
I would like to know the correlation between the uprise in this sport relative to the release of that movie. It would be pretty interesting.
Are you allowed to use the power windows, and can you get your opponent stuck in the sunroof?
You could no. In this case here, the car is off. The engine's off. It is apparently about 90 degrees in there, though.
Ooh.
So yeah, that also adds a lot of the fuel.
So everything works, but the AC.
Exactly. So it's a pure
real car.
yeah. Summer's coming too.
Like an old Toyota.
So how do you score in this?
It's basically very simple. It's tap out. So in this case, we did actually get a tap out on that one. Moving on to the next one, by the way, we have this kid Caden Booth versus Raven James. So, it's the old meeting the young in this case. That kid is 18 years old. Apparently they view him as the future of the sport.
George Kittle looks angry.
Was it just for you?
Angry.
Can you imagine your family watching this?
The look they had afterwards was just of post.
Hold on, this is such an unfair graphic because Raven James really looks like he's about to head onto a Viking ship and really Leif Erikson, man. And then they got this 3-year-old looking Caden. That really is a concerning graphic.
So the door just popped.
He got out of the car. He cheated, so they get to start again.
Apparently, he used to be in MMA or something like that. And this kid Caden is he's barely 18 years old at this point. So it's more of him trying to adapt and just kind of learn the sport. But again, seatbelts have to go on. You have to show that you're 100% ready.
Seatbelts on.
You have to start with your seaatbelt on. Oh,
hands
safety
up,
first,
down,
right?
And
Safety
go.
first.
Yeah. Seatbelt's got to come off, and now you go to town. Like I said, you look at this under a different context. This is has such a different vibe to it.
Caden, he's got no chance.
Yeah, I know.
This is just I got no words. It's how much are they getting paid for this?
The guy's name is Raven James.
Yeah, I know. The fact
is that I mean, this looks personal.
Yeah, and now the seatbelt's coming. You can see he's starting to get strapped in.
Is he trying to hold his mouth shut? Wow.
Yeah.
Sponsored by OnlyFans.
Oh my God, really?
I feel bad for this kid.
Yeah. Well, there's apparently a lot of future in the sport for him, so you got to kind of go through the ropes and just.
Oh, he's an up and coming prospect. Look at his feet.
You know,
Poor
Getting tangled in the seatbelts.
but in this case, he's also getting really tired because you can tell that the other guy just has experience, knows how to do it. Now he's in a chokehold at this point.
Tired. That's straight fear.
Yeah, probably.
Beating up a child, man.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but I did jiu-jitsu, like real jiu-jitsu, like on a mat and everything like that. That is brutal stuff. That is absolutely brutal stuff. You know, this shoulder has never been the same because I refused for whatever reason to not get out of an arm bar and tap out. I was like, I can fight through this, which is a dumbass mistake that some people make. And my shoulder has never been the same. This, no, just no.
I feel that there are probably a couple things that aren't allowed. Like you probably can't wrap the seatbelt around their neck or something.
No,
like
you can
that.
do it around.
I don't know if anybody told Raven that. That's what he was doing.
Yeah. That, by the way, the kid finally tapped out from exhaustion.
Gee, I bet.
These two guys, we got Vincent Bryan and Steven Minsky. The last one we've got here.
Well, it seems that they learned about not putting up the face graphics.
Well, actually, the window's rolled down, which is probably good because you could probably crack your head against the window if you're not careful.
Oh, absolutely.
See that? How is that not cheating? That's. Yeah. See, we're not playing with fair rules here.
I don't even know if the rules, how strict they are with these rules, but the car can get damaged.
I really hope that the horn is one of those specialty horns.
How do you mean?
Like a place like Hatch or something like
one
that.
of those fancy trumpet horns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if your family's watching you right there?
That's what I'm saying. Poor Caden's mom and dad having to watch him be manhandled like that.
This is my son's future.
You know what I always wonder in this case here? A kid like that's probably might still be in high school. And they have a meeting with their guidance counselor. They're talking about the future. What do you want to be when you grow up? I want to do carjitsu, and I want to wrestle men in a car.
Fight in a car.
Ha!
Seatbelts on, guys. Here you go.
Yeah. Seatbelt back on. Yeah, because they popped out. One of the videos, I forget which one it was.
Now,
the side view mirror got kicked off.
What they should do for specialty events, instead of a car, switch up the car with something else like an ice cream truck.
That was a quick one. That was quick.
Yeah.
Or one of those, like a roller coaster car.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
God. Get out of those. Yeah.
That's like something out of Sakamoto days.
So, that right there is, as I mentioned, carjitsu. As always, we're going to be rating this thing on 5 different scales. Obscurity, how obscure the sport is. Watchability. We're going to sit there on a Saturday afternoon and watch this thing. Bettability, can Vegas make money off of it? Playability, can you yourself actually do it? And badassery, just honestly, how cool is it? So this is all going to be rated on a scale from 1 to 10. Do we have any volunteers on those 5 categories to kick it off?
So 10 would be very and 1 would be less?
Yes,
okay.
10 is high. 10 is high.
10's high.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, any volunteers to kick it off?
Sure.
Kyle?
Yeah. Let's see. So obscurity, I will give this like an 8. Because, while you can fight pretty much anywhere, I didn't think that there would be an organized sport for beating people up inside a car. Watchability, well, it depends on how well the cameras are, but I give it about a 7 or an 8. Let's go 7.5 out of 10 on that one.
All right.
Because if you get the cameras right, it can be really fun to watch. Otherwise, it just looks like 2 people in a questionable video.
Mm-hmm.
But
like I said, different context. This has a different vibe to it in so many levels. But like I said, it's OnlyFans.
Make sure you get the sponsors correct. Betality. Yep. I will give that. It's Vegas. 10 out of 10. They can make bets out of anything, especially if it's like a one-on-one fight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
Playability. Would you do it?
Playability. Would I do it? Oh, hell no. I get my butt handed to me. I would get choked out by the. I would have trouble getting the stupid seatbelt off. So I'm giving that one like a 2. It's like, I could deliver a punch, and I know how to choke people out, but I get stuck in the freaking seatbelt. So
time out, hang on.
Time out. My seatbelt's not working. No, I would lose to myself against the damn seatbelt. So that's a 2 out of 10 for me. And badassery, well, it's a fighting sport. You
Yeah.
gotta be pretty damn strong. You gotta be able to take a hit. You gotta be able to fight. You gotta be able to contort yourself into weird ass angles. I'm definitely giving that one like a 9 out of 10.
Nice. All right, who's next, if anybody?
I'll take it.
All right, Brandon, you go, and then I'll take the next one.
Let's start with obscurity. I'm gonna go down the middle, just because cars, like when you're a kid, we sometimes in the backseat of a car, especially on a road trip or whatever, and then just the fighting aspect, not like just kind of like boys being boys kind of stuff, and then just the fighting aspect, cars every day. I don't find it that obscure, just the matching of it, so I'll give it kind of like a 6. Watchability, I'll also give it like an 8 or a 9. You got to have the good camera angles in there.
Yeah, they had a 3-camera
clear
setup.
windshield. Yeah, you got to be able to see. Yeah. The betality or bettability of it. I'm not gonna go fully 10. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10, just because how many aspects of there are you allowed? If there's more, then I'll go 10. But if it's just kind of like winner or loser time, I don't think there's so many layers of betting that can go into it. So I'll reserve a 10 out of 10 for that. So I'll stay 9. Playability depends on my opponent. I'm not gonna lie, I would fall more into the Cadent aspect of the spectrum than Raven James. But again, it's your opponent. Badassery, though, I still want to be fairly neutral. So I get it. You have, it's jiu-jitsu, but like,
is it really though?
There's kind of like an aesthetic part of it that kind of takes away from being so like badass. Mm-hmm. So I'll go 5. I'll stay right in the middle.
Fair. All right, obscurity to me, I mean, dude, I had no idea this was even a thing. So I got to go full 9 on obscurity on something like this. It's one of those things you just never expected, certain things to exist. Watchability, I don't see myself really getting that jonesed about something like this, I admit, because basically it's just a couple of guys grappling in a car. So for me, and the way my spastic brain works, I'd lose interest probably pretty fast. Listen, it's for some people, it's fine for me. So watchability before. Bettability, yes, it's Vegas. I think, Kyle, you said, anything Vegas can make money on, especially on a fighting match. You can do something like this. It is a 3-round fight. So you have that flexibility when, how, et cetera, backseat. There's a lot Vegas can make money off of this. Playability, bettability, I'm going to give that a 9. Playability, I'm going to give this a 1. I would not dare do it. Like I said, torn rotator cuff on both shoulders, arm bar, damage this one permanently, and having even less space to work in. It doesn't actually do anything. I would never pull this off. Badassery, though, I will give it an 8, I admit. I think there is a certain toughness factor to this. I think there's a certain coolness factor to it. A bravery part of it. Like I said, that poor Caden kid is 18 years old, and he's going up against this dude who clearly looks like he's done some degree of, fighting, training, even, who knows, underground fighting, bare knuckle. He has that look. And to sit in the car next to this guy and be like,
I mean, some kids are just naturals at it. Caden had a rough matchup.
So, yeah, but see, that's also part of it, too. It's an elimination part. You lose, you get into a loser's bracket. You can still come back up again and, fight for the championship. But for me, badassery, I would have to give this thing a 9. It is pretty damn tough. You got to be pretty brave on that. And I certainly am way too much of a chicken shit to do it. So, Mitch, take it
So, obscurity, I'll give it a 9. I did not know that this was even a thing. I would not want that to be my car. I want my car to be safe from there. Let's get that out of the way. My car is nowhere near this. All right, what's the next one again?
Watchability. Would you sit there on Saturday and watch it?
It depends. Is it men or females? If it's females, then yes. If it's men, then no.
Actually, I don't know if there was a video for that. That would probably raise the watchability factor for a lot of guys on that, I think.
Yeah, so
they're like, this 10 too low.
I'll give it like a 6, I guess. Okay. I think I'll be too tired from watching this. If it was a bigger car, then maybe got more room to work with. Maybe like an SUV
or something.
SUV, yeah.
Ring episode of it.
Yeah.
Next Toyota one? Corolla.
Yeah. What's the next one?
Bettability. Can Vegas make money on it?
Anything. They can bet on anything. I'm giving this a 10. I'll give this a 10. If it was a family, I would bet against my son. If I was 18, I would bet against him. But yeah. After that, what's next?
Playability. Would you play it?
Nope. I'll give it a 1.
All right,
I'll give it a 1. I'm just too small for that kind of thing.
Yeah. In this case, I almost wonder if that could help you a little bit. Because the smaller you are, the more you may be able to wriggle out of certain things. But I see your point.
If it helped him.
You just go and hide under the steering wheel.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Just hide the glove box.
And a badassery, I'll give it an 8.
Hmm.
I'll give it an 8 for that.
I think so. All right, fair. So that's going to wrap that up. Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
Imagine if it's a good thing that the car is not moving.
That's a good point.
We'd be getting everyone involved.
Now, see, here's the question. I mean, Tom Cruise said this is going to be the last Mission Impossible movie. If he had one more, would he have this in his next Mission Impossible movie?
If he sees it, probably, because it's one of those things that probably would be entertaining in a movie. But in real life, chances are, if the car is moving, you're going to get pulled over. The cops are going to be staring at you, really, really confused as two people beat the hell out of each other in a car.
I feel like that car in a Mission Impossible feels more in the earlier movies. I feel like they've graduated, so I feel like the next one they'd be more likely to do something in space before be there. They're big. Yeah. I think space is the next way to go. But I'm excited for the next Mission Impossible.
Now, if I was the referee, I'd be like, what am I doing with my life? I'm watching these two guys fight in a car.
How do you get accredited to be a carjitsu referee? I mean, is there a school for that?
It's gotta be.
How do basically do you go through this? Is there classes?
I'll appreciate it.
I mean, I would imagine you probably have to have some kind of a jiu-jitsu referee training in some regard anyway.
Oh, absolutely. You got to be able to identify when someone's losing consciousness.
Yeah.
And it's very tricky to do when, they're in a car and a lot of the angles are obscured. You can't, it's like you've watched UFC fights. The ref gets every friggin' angle they can to see to be able to see what's going on. If you're choking someone out and you're jamming their head down into the glove box or underneath the seat, how can you tell?
Stick their head, shove their head right
between aware of a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Thank God the car. No, you go.
No, I was going to say, I wonder if the gear shaft is taken out because one bad move and yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
that was actually my
shift your opponent into gear.
When I knew it was carjitsu, I was like, oh, gear shaft. Yeah.
You know what? It probably does come out because also in this case here, because both legs would whack in, not just the legs. I mean, obviously you worry about it from the standpoint of your nuts or even an eye or anything like that. Yeah. But it's probably taken out to offer a little more flexibility because if that's in the way, it's going to slow down the movement.
Not only slow down the movement, it'll give a whole new meaning to the word giving your opponent the shaft.
Can you
on that note, there we go. So
can you imagine if the radio was on and you would be listening like Barry Manilow as you're fighting him?
Yeah.
You get the Carpenters on. It's like baby, 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 baby.
Who said it to the religious station?
And Jesus is my savior, my one and only love.
That's what I'm saying. If the radio's on and you could change the channel, have that be part of how many times the radio changes.
Didn't they do that in Deadpool where he was like getting smashed against the? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They did change it a couple.
Yeah.
Times.
All right. So that, by the way, gentlemen, is carjitsu. Appreciate you bearing through that one. Thanks for the ratings as always. As always, this is Scott from Streampunk Entertainment, and of course, in this case, Streampunk Reacts. More videos on the rise. Let us know in the comments what it is that you guys want in this case. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that. You've heard that one 1,000 times from 1,000 other channels, but it does help out because at the end of the day, we work for you. Anyway, thanks as always. Take care. Stay awesome.